Hello, everybody. Welcome to Galaxy Brains, where there is no matter or antimatter, just the sodden remains of your once voluminous self-worth as you consider the meaning of life following the loss of your blue check mark, Denny Carter. And everyone knows, of course, Denny verified for years and years, some would say decades on Twitter, one of the original blue check mark aficionados, mafiosos, actually, some people might say. How are you doing today, Denny? You've had a blue check mark forever, right?
I have never had one and never applied for one. I have been part of the people for years and years while the elites like you got the check. No more. Welcome to Unverified Hell, Pat. I'm glad you're here.
I have been thrown out into the streets, but someone I know who will not be joining me out here, Denny, someone who was born to pay $8 a month for Twitter is, of course, Russell Wilson, the quarterback of the Denver Broncos, who we talk about literally every week. But that's because he does something notable every week, Denny. This time, it sounds scary at first, but it turns out it's just actually like Johnny Knoxville type funny. Russell Wilson crashed his golf cart into a bunker over the weekend at Arrowhead Golf Course in Littleton, Colorado. Very scary situation, but he came away unscathed. And now since he's fine, without a scratch, you think maybe we should examine what led to this wreck?
We should, and honestly, we have a little bit of an exclusive here. I mean, we don't make a habit of breaking news on Galaxy Brains, but we actually have a source who is inside the golf cart that Russell Wilson was driving. Her name does not rhyme with Kiara, and she told Galaxy Brains that Russell Wilson, had his little oopsie in his golf cart because he was on his iPad studying practice footage of a practice squad slot cornerback for the Las Vegas Raiders. And honestly, I think this is just too much. I think, we talked last week about Russell Wilson showing up early to off-season workouts for Sean Payton's Broncos. I get it. He's a try-hard. He really wants to win. I understand that, and I credit him for that. But at some point, Russell, you have to separate, your leisure activities from your professional life. And you're studying practice footage of a guy who has not played in the NFL since 2019. It's too much, Russell.
Yeah, Russell, as you're studying cover 3 coverage, driving your golf cart, just like a maniac, you could have run over somebody. I guess what, you're 3-putting a par 3. And just how does that feel? Like, why even live life this way? What is it even worth if you can never, ever disconnect? And I mean, he was studying his iPad footage too, but he was also, you left out, also receiving physical rehab. Of course, he was getting his finger injury rehabbed, years-old ankle injury rehab at the same time. That's actually how it happened. His ankle was in an ice bucket that accidentally locked down on the accelerator, and it drove into the bunker and flipped. And he's just trying to, while he's trying to like come back from last year, he's just quadrupling down on the mistakes of the past, and it seems to be getting him even further afield.
It's sad, and really, I think what we're saying here is that this was a multifaceted accident. He's having his ankle taped during, while he's driving the cart. He's studying his iPad. There's a lot of things going. So I don't, our sourcing could be a little off. We're not reporters, but I will say that I'm glad we have some insight into this incident because it was scary. Thankfully, he's okay. I would once again encourage Russell Wilson to do 2 things: have a little fun and get a little sleep, Russell.
We have some insight into Russell Wilson. We have full insight into how Tom Brady's retirement is going. You may remember Tom Brady from such past retirements as 2022 and then 2023. It seems like Tom himself, though, cannot remember these things. He was asked Thursday about rumors that he was considering joining the Miami Dolphins or had considered joining the Miami Dolphins and if there was any validity or truth to that. And Tom, you were retired, correct? He then took an entire paragraph to say to not say the word retired. I will say now that I'm not affiliated with any team anymore, even though I have strong ties with a couple of teams. I do have some friends on the Dolphins that I really like. This is a real quote. So I wouldn't say I necessarily root for them all the time, but I root for my friends to do well. And several of them play for Miami. I've never heard a more tortured paragraph in my entire life, Denny. But according to you, it actually went on much, much longer than this.
It did. Downright Clintonian. In its wording. To get political.
Tom Brady does not know what the meaning of is.
He was basically that close to saying. So he went on to say that he would only play football in the state of Florida and that he would never again play for the Buccaneers. And over his dead body, that's a quote, he would never play for the Jaguars. So I don't know. That leaves the one team, the Dolphins. He later went on to say that among my friends, Mike McDaniel, I like my friends coaching me, things like that. He also said that the Dolphins had pledged that Todd Bowles would not come onto the coaching staff at any point. So we have there's a little smoke here, folks, and I think some more Brady quotes, and we could get a Tua versus Brady situation in preseason or in training camp.
Yeah, the moderator was trying to move on, and he's kept adding more and more details. Like, yeah, sure, I have $40 million worth of real estate in Miami, Florida, and sure, I have literally signed a contract with the Miami Dolphins that has not been yet released. But yeah, I'm just taking everything day by day. Currently, not at this exact moment playing for the Miami Dolphins, but just taking it day by day, moment by moment, and. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where these reports come from as he puts on a Miami Dolphins uniform on stage as he's talking.
And, another thing that you left out, Pat, I don't know really how you left this out, but that he said that he personally drove Rob Gronkowski to Dolphins headquarters where Gronk has lived for the past 6 weeks. The media is not reporting on this. And, so I think we can make some connections here, some reasonable connections, and say, hey, is Tom Brady going to play for the Dolphins this year? Who knows, really? Who knows?
It probably should have been a giveaway when there's when various South Florida politicians approved $40 million in tax credits for the building of a Robert Guerrero TB12 Institute at Dolphins headquarters. The Zoomers will not remember who Dr. Guerrero was.
Look it up.
I'm not sure if they're still affiliated or not, but anyways, Tom Brady might be playing for the Dolphins because he will never, ever retire. He can truly never, ever, ever retire. Denny, the 49ers will never, ever, ever trade Trey Lance unless they will. Bring us up to speed on this.
Yeah. So our weekly Trey Lance, well, really daily Trey Lance update is that right where we are. It could be breaking right now. We don't know. John Lynch, the general manager of the 49ers, came out and told Ian Rappaport apparently that the team has fielded calls for Trey Lance from teams who may be interested in acquiring Trey Lance. Now, the 49ers, John Lynch was very careful to say that the 49ers had made and will make no calls about Trey Lance. That is off the table, but they will receive a call if you're interested. And in no scenario will the Niners trade Trey Lance unless there is a team interested in acquiring Trey Lance, at which point they will definitely trade Trey Lance. And really, you look a little further into it, you read some other reports and team reports. We actually went through a copy of John Lynch's recent interview, and he said that the team had run out of cell phone minutes recently, and that they wouldn't have more cell phone minutes until May 1st, which of course is after the NFL draft, lots of things happening. So that's why he said, you got to call us, man. Look, we have spent 194 hours on the phone with Brock Purdy's surgeon, and we don't have any minutes left. Okay. So if you want Trey Lance, you have to call us. We can't make a call anymore. This is what he said.
You see, the Zoomers aren't even familiar with the concept of cell phone minutes. You used to have a set number of minutes you could make every month, but they actually never went away. But no one makes phone calls anymore, Denny, because God forbid you talk to someone on the phone. God forbid you run away from me. Like I just announced, I'm gonna try to if I call you. I couldn't finish the joke because it was going to be very, very rude.
Well, I mean, every time you text me, can I call you? And I text back, no. Absolutely.
Yeah, you text back, no, and then I immediately call you. But so the cell phone minutes still do exist, because no one had gone over them since 2007. And you mentioned 194 hours on the phone with Brock Purdy's surgeon. That actually was under the 202 hours Kyle Shanahan used with the 49ers minutes, talking to Kyle Juszczyk about new plays where they could send him into motion for absolutely no reason before the snap. And there's absolutely no reason. There's no reason, Kyle Shanahan, to send Kyle Juszczyk in motion every single play, and yet you do it no matter what, and you get praised for it no matter what because the results are good. But the process of sending Kyle Juszczyk into motion every play does not work.
The thing I admire about you the most is that you never let Kyle Shanahan get under your skin, no matter what.
No.
You are impervious. You say no, it doesn't bother me. It obviously this doesn't bother you at all.
Yeah, no, it doesn't at all. And so, it doesn't at all. And I've gone over my minutes. That's just from calling you. What I claim will be a 2-minute call to talk about the podcast, and 2 hours later, I've been talking about Kyle Shanahan for 88 minutes. So.
And I wouldn't want to spend my 2 hours any differently. So don't.
No, you wouldn't, and you don't do it under the threat of being fired by NBC Legal because I'm technically.
There's rarely a lawyer at my side while I'm talking. So, I mean, that only happens like 1 out of 3 phone calls at this point.
So the lawyers sitting to both the left and the right of Denny say it is time to end today's Galaxy Brains. So for Denny Carter, I'm Patrick Daugherty. We'll be back next week to talk about Russell Wilson and do some more brain expansion.